Hello. This video is a viewer requested video. Um, I hope it's not too repetitive because before I made another video about how to rotate a box, and it kind of showed, I believe it was from like right to left, the phases of rotating a box. Um, Originally I was thinking that, it's all kind of similar, you could say. I mean, right to left, it would just be like up to down. But I did notice that there are a lot of different ways to do it. Whether you're keeping the box, if it's going to stay in the same position in 3D space, and I think that's the thing that could be a bit confusing to a lot of people. So I'm probably better off trying to explain it than say it. I'm actually going to use some larger crosshairs. I tried to draw crosshairs in advance, and it did not, it was a bit too small. It's not going to be perfect, but I try my best, believe it or not. Yeah, thinking about how things recede in 3D space is pretty important, and you kind of have to think like what you want to do. Like, there's a lot of different things you can do when it comes to trying to rotate things. The more I draw, the one thing I realize that if you want to get like from one point to another, there's this thing called extremes, or there may be, I think like in animation, they probably call it keyframes. I'm forgetting the shortcut to rotate. um, yeah, one thing I have learned, I do always rotate my page, um, more often than not. So let's draw a starting box, right? And I'm going to draw through my boxes just to show you. It's not perfect. Ah. A little off on that. So here we have a box, and when we look at it, we're kind of looking at it like front on. When I say that, I mean it's a bit difficult to see exactly how it recedes in 3D space. And if I was going to think about it in any way, well, if there's a side towards us, there's got to be a side that we can't see behind us because it's like a cube, right? 6 sides. And just saying, this does kind of follow that one Drawbox exercise. The viewer did ask me uh, about it regarding Drawbox. I'm not affiliated with Drawbox in any way. I mean, I just did the exercises a long time ago, and I had feedback on it. You could look at my feedback. I tried to link it on my website for the Drawbox exercise feedbacks that I got, or the critiques. I actually paid for that, so they were official critiques. I believe they were all done by Uncomfortable. I'm pretty sure they were. But the point I'm trying to say with that is do look at that if you're looking for more feedback. I mean, I did pretty bad on the exercise. And I probably shouldn't be doing this and talking at the same time. I do want to note that I have realized that I guess you can call it like performance anxiety, even though I'm not in front of an audience at all. You do get that, and it's very difficult for me to think and draw at the same time. Some people do recommend that I voice over and do it differently, but I have to say, like, I tried doing that once and it just became a total nightmare. So let's say we have this box, right? There's a front side, which is like that large side that's towards us, and then there's the back side. If I get to show you, like, the front side is this whole visible side to us, and the back side of the box is the side that's not visible to us. It's like this box over here. You may notice that, obviously that's the back side, but there are another 4 sides. Yeah, they're not visible to us. There's like this top side that's not visible to us. There's the bottom. I guess I could have called that like the back receding compared to the bottom. The bottom isn't visible to us. The left side of the box is not visible to us, and the right side of the box is not visible to us. So those sides all exist in 3D space, and you could assume that right now this front side is the side that is closest to the viewer, you, right now. So we want this box to, rotate up and down. So if you look at the exercises on Dropbox.com for, pretty much rotating boxes, it kind of had to do with like a sphere. Not a sphere, but like the exercise had to do with rotating boxes up and down, left and right, diagonal, up, left, down, right, upright, down, left, pretty much 8 directions, and going from a box that is like sitting here to basically just kind of rotating to another side. So effectively the box is still positioned in the exact same way, but it would just be moving. So I'm going to show you those sides. And the interesting thing about the exercise that I learned, oh darn, this is going to be a bit confusing. I'm probably going to confuse myself. I'm going to try hard not to mess this up. So using the current box as a guide, I'm drawing on different layers, by the way, so I'll show you what I mean. I'll probably just not show the crosshairs for now. We have the front box, and I wanted to make, I called it front box. I'm thinking it's probably also best for me to make a back box, meaning that there's going to be a point in which the box that's rotating is going to be receding back farther in 3D space than how it is right now. If you look at the exercises for that, you'll kind of be able to see how you could use the previous boxes for a guide. I'm going to do that here as well. I'm thinking maybe I should use different colors. No, maybe I should stick to black. I think I'll just stick to black. So basically, the important thing here is it's kind of like you're using the internal sides of the current box that you have as a reference. You're like drawing through multiple forms. Oops. I'm drawing a bit small here. You're drawing through multiple forms. Not multiple forms right now, but just this one box. And the other thing is there's a bit of a receding factor. Because this box is rotating down, in this case, and it's a bit of a estimation game, I will say. I am trying to eye it. I think it should have been a little bit more like that, or maybe even more down. Taking time to plot is also a plus side. Oops. Yeah. I'm also trying to ghost my lines, which is like drawing without drawing, so you may see the mouse cursor moving a little. I usually use the dot. Okay, so now what we have here, we have our box that is kind of toppling, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment. I'm going to draw through this form. Like I said, it seems like there's always a bit of estimation. I may be messing it up a little bit, but don't be afraid to use reference and look at the at an example of how the boxes rotate. I will say when I did the exercise myself, I messed that up. Should have been down a little bit more. When I did the exercises myself, I tried to reference closely the exercise. And don't worry, I'm going to show you the sides, like what's front, what's behind. Okay, so great. We have another box. Now the interesting thing about this box is, compared to the previous box, is that this box here is tilting towards us, rotating down for now, down in 3D space. So because of that, this line, there's a line here on the box, or I'm not sure what you call it. Like there's like a side, not a side, a line. So just think of, I'm gonna highlight in red. Sorry if you can't see it, but maybe you'll see something. So you see that redness right there, right? That is the closest to the viewer right now. That's the closest thing to the viewer. I mean, I guess you could also say that this front side is also like the side we're seeing the majority of, and it's also close. And we're also seeing this top side here, which is something we were not seeing in the previous box. So with that current rotation that we have right now, we could see two sides, but we have to note that we still cannot see the back side. We can't see the back side receding. We can't see this. We can't see the left side. We can't see the right side. Okay, so we have that. We have that. At this point, I'm going to start drawing another box. And I'm starting to feel stupid because I should have kept the reference more. It's kind of funny how I'm actually forgetting it. But don't worry, never be afraid to look at reference. Because being able to take it and rotate it in your head, change it, alter it, is definitely important. So, in short, I will now, let me think about this for 1 second. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is we're going to draw another box. And this one's going to be receding a bit more. Sorry, I just have to think about it for a second. I may have to plot this out. Before, I also didn't mention about having an ending point, which I probably should have mentioned. The ending point that we're eventually going to reach is, it's going to be a box that is a bit further in 3D space and smaller, because the initial box that we had was towards us, closer to the viewer, and the box that we end with is going to be a bit further. Like, it'll be receding more in 3D space. It'll still be the same view that we had originally with the front box, but it will be smaller because things in further back in 3D space will appear smaller, things closer will appear larger. And don't be afraid to take some time to plot out your points or to think things through, because there's a lot to plan. Rushing through it is usually never helpful. I feel like if you ever try to rush learning anything, it will not help in the long run. Giving yourself time to internalize a lot of this stuff is also incredibly useful. So we have a box here, and I'm going to draw through it. I'm being a bit sloppy. I feel like I could be more precise with this. So just reiterating what I said before, these two boxes are it's the same box, but this one is closer to the viewer, yourself, in 3D space, and this box is further away in in 3D space. Now what we want to do is we're going to use the previous box, or I should say this, if I can name it, I could say slightly toppling. I'm just going to call it, yeah, slightly toppling box. It's not too hard, because what you can do now is, in this one, you could use the other box as a reference point. Oops. And the interesting thing here is that there's going to be a bit more exaggeration when you are toppling it. I guess the other important thing is thinking about the length of the topple, like, because it's receding in 3D space, think of the length of that, right? The length of this is going to be a bit smaller. You could say like length, ls, length, smaller. And you want to keep that in mind as you do this. And I guess you could say, I keep thinking that I may have somehow messed this up, because I keep thinking this bottom part may need to be a bit smaller. And I'm wondering if I do believe I messed that up just a bit. So let me go back a few steps to see how I can fix that, because I think, well, I don't know. I'm feeling like the exaggeration should be smaller, in my opinion. Because I'm thinking, let me just try to draw it out real quick. Maybe I am right. Or I could be dead wrong. But yeah, I'm trying to think about the length, because the length probably, maybe I'm thinking of that wrong. So please excuse me if I was wrong on that. I think the other important thing is that we just want to be slightly getting to that toppled box. So it's interesting how you can reference your own lines and use them as a guide for doing further boxes. Yeah, I think this works. I just may want to keep it more. I may want to keep this receding in line more. But just a quick note, I always try to correct myself. I didn't mention the viewer that requested the video. I just did that. I'm not sure if they want called out or not. But I'm guessing people may not want that. I should probably ask, but I was a bit more keen on trying to make the video. So we have, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I just made the back boxes stacking more, which I believe that was kind of a problem. I think what I should have done here when it came to the box is I do believe I should have made the air, like this trapezoidal area of the box. Let me show you. Don't worry, I'm going to redo all of this. I think where I went wrong here was the trapezoidal area here should have been smaller. I do believe it should have been just probably a tad more receding. It probably should have been more. Yes, it should have been smaller. No, it should have been more exaggerated. I think like a bit more exaggerated. I think kind of like that. My apologies for that. But perhaps you learned something along the way. I know I did. So I think maybe I should have made that even more exaggerated. Okay, well, I'm going to carry on with trying to show it. So we have that. For our next box, I'm trying to think the best way to do this. I think what I want to do is I want to show a bit more exaggeration, still falling within that, but I think the toppling should be a bit more exaggerated. It's just not perfect, and that's what's getting me. Whoops, where did I go wrong with that? Oh no, I messed that up again. Okay, I see what I did wrong. Wow, that is annoying. Okay, don't worry. I have it fixed this time. I hope I made that mistake again. Well, not again, but it should have been more like that. I guess the important thing to know is that when doing this, sometimes the mistakes can compile if you're not being extra careful with how everything's connecting. And I didn't need those lines. I didn't need those dots. Oh, that is so annoying. Okay, now we have our box. The second box, it is slightly rotating. Okay, now for I'm going to quickly do this one again. Maybe I'll make it real small. This is just the ending point that I want to eventually get to. The same rules apply about how it's a bit smaller. Okay. Whoops, what did I do? What even is that layer? Well, I'm going to get rid of that layer because there is nothing on it. Okay. So now what I want to do is I'm going to still use this, the last box that we had as a bit of a guide. But I'm going to do a bit more exaggeration. So because of the toppling that we had, it's going to be toppling a bit more. And perhaps I should quickly do that. It's going to be toppling a bit more. And the thing to keep in mind as we go from this box to the next box is that you're going to see a greater amount of this side than the front side. Because what we're getting here... Oh, what did I do? What we're going to be getting soon is that because the box is rotating more, there's a bit of a well, you know, just certain sides are going to be receding in 3D space, other ones are going to be a bit more visible. I guess it's a bit up to you how much exaggeration you want to portray. I mean, I guess you could do more highly exaggerated things, or you can try to painstakingly do each individual one. I think the important thing for traversing more of the sides is that you probably show an exaggeration. I think that's definitely the better way to go. But if you want an interesting exercise for yourself, I think you're probably better off. You could use a paint program, or maybe even like an animation program. I think that would be like doing this on a hard mode. Okay, so we have this box. So we had this box before, and now there's a lot more exaggeration. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to draw the backside. Oops. So we have this box now, right? We had that box. This box is toppling a lot more. And now what we want to do, if I could give an example of like what I'm thinking here when I'm going through this, I guess you could say it's kind of like, I feel like it's like the curvature of a ball. And I know that's a bad way to explain it, but I feel like if you're like flying over buildings, and if you have like flying power or something like that, like really high up, it's kind of like going over a ball. Maybe the better way to explain it is, if you ever heard of a video game called Animal Crossing, I had it for the GameCube a long time ago, and it's kind of like how it would rotate like that. It's kind of like, you know what a rolling pin is? Like, kind of like that. I know I'm probably giving very bizarre examples here, but I'm going to show you even more exaggeration. And I'm thinking, did I do this right? Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. I'll probably am better off. I could do this. So this next box, I'm trying to show a greater portion of this side and less of that side when I'm doing this. And another important note is this, this is totally wrong because I'm making this box a lot smaller. It was probably bad for me to even portray that as an example. Oops. So we have this box here. And sorry for drawing so small, I didn't mean for it to turn out like that. So we have another box, surprisingly. I bet you're not surprised. I guess you could say, let's just take it another step further and see what happens. I feel like at this point we have even more exaggeration with the topple, but I guess the other important thing to keep in mind is that side, and when I say that side, this front side that was once visible is greatly receding in 3D space. Sorry for drawing small, maybe I'll what I'll do for you, I'm going to draw it small real quick, and then draw it a bit larger to the side. So we have that, but if I was going to exaggerate that in a better manner, I guess I would say it's kind of a bit more like this. So it's kind of a bit more like that. I also realized I didn't draw through it. I guess maybe it's a bit kind of like that. Sorry, it's so difficult. But just know that, maybe this is bad. Always draw big. I don't recommend drawing small. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'll find a use case for drawing smaller, but in general, I feel like it is too tough of a limitation. Okay, so maybe I'll just go from this point since it's larger. So we were here. We're now here. And the important thing here is that I drew the F. I'm so sorry about that. But let's just know. I can't believe I did that. That is so annoying. Wow. I am dumb. I am very dumb. But when we were at this point, and I will show you, by the way, I'm not just gonna make you sorry about that. When we were here, this was the front side, and now this is the front side, and the side that was the top, which is this side, is now the side that is the closest to us compared to this side. So now, as we go further with our box rotating down, and I add another layer, it's not too difficult, because I would say the next layer that comes after this would probably be the last one, which would just be the straight view again, like the view that is straight on. In this case, it would be just like the square where we started. It would look similar to how we started with this big version. It would look similar, but it's smaller because it's receding further back in 3D space. You very well could have done this the opposite way. You could have started with a box that is smaller in 3D space, and you could have rotated it, becoming larger. I think there are many degrees of for how you want to take it. But let's just say that like before that, this last box that completes the rotation, it is the same thing. It's like the same box, just rotated to a different side. It's still the same box. just further back in 3D space. I think that's the real crux of it. Trying to rotate them diagonally, that could be like a whole nother challenge. If you were going to do that, I would say probably it's best to like orient yourself around some type of axis. If I could do it quick and dirty. Oh, I did want to mention, I talked about rotating down but not up. If you were to do it just up, you very well could just like, you could flip the page, I hate to say it like that, to make it that quick and easy. But yeah, you could just flip it and do the same thing. Or you could have started small, become big, or you could have started big and become even larger as you go on. But as I said, keeping within the bounds of here, trying to do that could definitely be a good starting point. Let me just try to do this off the top of my head real quick. And this is a bit it's not perfect, but let's just say we were starting from that same box before. And if you wanted to rotate this box like down right diagonally, it gets a bit weird, because I always think that it's gonna get really weird, because when you're rotating it, if it was gonna be like that, I think the line was a bit of a disservice. Let's just say I'm gonna do it over here, just really quick and easy. When you're rotating it, there's gonna be like that corner, like this corner is gonna be a bit closer to us. This corner. I exaggerated it and I rotated it down right diagonally. And you kind of have it like that. And I did want to mention, as I go through this, it's always good to understand that there's like an array of all of the rotations that you can do. Normally for people who draw, they may pick a few keyframes to represent the action that they want to. But if you're doing something like animation, you would do the keyframes and then fill up everything in between, which requires a lot of time, a lot of attention to detail. If you make mistakes can sometimes compile and could end up hurting your whole animation. My box is a bit weird, but yeah, I'm thinking of we went from this box to that, and let's say we rotate it a bit more again. I am probably greatly messing this up. like that. This is so bad. I really messed that up. But, we went from that. And then I guess if you try to rotate it more, if you went from that, if you rotate it more, wow, I really messed that up. I'm so sorry. I think if I would rotate it more, it wouldn't have been like that. It would have been more... It would have been a bit more triangle shaped. It's so hard for me to visualize. Oh, yeah, I really should have done that. Well, I'm sorry, I kind of messed up. I shouldn't have talked about rotating boxes diagonally in this video. I think I covered the main points that I wanted to. I know I didn't show it exactly going up, which is a bit frustrating. Let me see what I can do real quick. So we had this before. Where it gets weird is that when we were making the box smaller, we were using that as a guide. If we want to make it a bit larger, I guess probably what we would need to do is make another box, kind of encapsulating it so it's a bit larger. Kind of like that. And I would think it would probably need to be a bit more like that. Now I get to play the game of figuring out how to best... I think I'd be actually out more, because the other ones were in... Am I doing this right? Yeah, I think that's a bit correct. It looks a bit bad, but I'm trying to show how it's kind of doing that, how it's encapsulating more. It's pretty much like before when I was going from here to here, we're effectively going from here to here, kind of doing opposite, applying the opposite rules, in which when I was making the box rotating further back in 3D space, I was trying to encapsulate it within the this box. Now when I'm going here, I'm trying to make the box that's larger, toppling kind of like up in 3D space, to be larger than that area. Yeah, it's a bit difficult for me to think of. And I keep wondering if I'm perhaps doing something wrong. This may confuse you because I'm not following one-to-one what they did in the exercise of rotating boxes from all angles in like the sphere from the draw box exercise. That follows a bit differently. Like for that, they're pretty much just following the same thing with it toppling down further in 3D space. And I made, just saying it once again, I made that one a bit larger. Because like if I was going to take it even further, if I was going to make it larger once more, I would have to, once again, encapsulate it. Make it a bit larger than the previous one. This is a bit difficult for me to think about because oh, the interesting thing. Okay, no, I think I'm doing it right. So the interesting thing here is that as we rotate this one in 3D space, it is becoming larger. But it's important to note that the bottom side, like the bottom side here, that was once not visible is becoming more visible, while the front side here is receding in 3D space. So I could always exaggerate it more, and as I said, if you're doing the Drawbox exercise, follow the rules for that. But you could always do it more exaggerated, you can do it less exaggerated. Always keep that in mind. And as we go and as it becomes larger, I think it's important to remember that eventually you are going to get to a point in which you're going to have just a very large box. It's not perfect, but far from it. Okay, I'm probably messing up a lot of things, but I'm just trying to show it quick and easy to the, or yeah, quick to the point. Oops. Okay, so let me think of what else I want to do. So before I encapsulated it within that box, within that one, it would have to be encapsulated more. I'm having a hard time thinking how to get from here to here. I definitely know there's a way. I guess I would just do more exaggeration. I mean, I could have kept closely with doing that, but I have to think that eventually what you're having here is that there's going to be less of the tapering. There's going to be less of the tapering. Well, a lot of the issues that I'm having is because I'm just not drawing it perfectly. Obviously, if you draw it more perfectly, it'll look right. So probably what I'm doing is going to look pretty off. And I'm breaking so many rules of what I just said. But I guess the important thing, and I am skipping a couple steps. Not really, but just like I'm not drawing the entire array of boxes between. But it's so difficult to do. So this box gets larger and is rotating more. This side, this side that wasn't visible before, we're seeing more of it. This was the side on the bottom. This side was the bottom. This one was the top. It's receding a lot more in 3D space now. Pretty much to the point that like this the side that was once the top is receding back. It's how do I put it? Even though the box is larger in 3D space, because the box is like rotating, it's going to be pretty much at eye level. So like this is the top, and like this is the top. Like this side of the box, this side of the box is the top side, but it's no longer visible to the viewer because it's at eye level. But it's important to know it's still there. And I guess if I was going to do more exaggeration, it needs to be the same length, so I'm probably messing up a bit there, but the next length is going to be even greater. It's kind of like as you proceed through drawing these, you'll see that you could always like vary the level of exaggeration when you want to, if you so wish. It's pretty cool because you could do a bunch of cool visual effects when you want to do that. I mean, it's really cool to be able to freehand certain boxes. If I had to give advice for if you want to like really be good at doing all types of boxes, just like play around. Always think about trying to get it in the right perspective, but don't worry about it too much. I mean, I guess you can say be critical, be always trying to improve. So yeah, those are the main things that I wanted to cover in this video. I try to make, when I do make videos, I try to make them as soon as possible. Sometimes it's a bit difficult for me to make them just because of time constraints. I've been doing a lot of game development these days, so I do draw, believe it or not. I do try to draw when I can. Actually, I find it integral to a lot of the game design I do, and for graphics and whatnot, and thinking things through. But yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. I should also say, like, thinking back to these boxes again, there's just so much. There's so many ways to do, like, to show exaggeration if you want to show different slices of a box, kind of like rotating. Yeah, I shouldn't even have talked about trying to rotate boxes diagonally in this video. It is like the title isn't that. But I guess like if you were gonna think about it, a lot of it follows similar rules. When it comes to rotating stuff. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Please disregard that bad box. I hope this answers the question of my viewer. It can be difficult to work with, and probably if I would have practiced that rotating box exercise more, I'd probably be a lot better at it. It's something that I'll definitely have to consider adding to my daily routine to try to get better at it, because I draw a lot of different things, a lot of organic insects, and sometimes when you do that, I probably lose out on a lot of the rigidity of boxes. Like, even if I may use a box to summarize a part of an insect, mostly like probably like a spider, no, probably like a scorpion. There are some locusts, but the point I'm trying to say here is that I probably need a bit more practice with that rigidness when it comes to straighter lines. So yeah, I hope this video helps you out. I hope this helps answer the question about drawing up and down boxes, receding receding, and coming towards. If you have a question, please ask below, or you could email me if you want to. If you like the video, please like it. And yeah, thank you for listening. I hope this video helped you. Bye.